What is going on, everybody? I am here, I am back, and we are here to talk about a major trade that has just gone down in the National Football League. We will look at it from the perspective of the Chicago Bears, the Carolina Panthers, and of course, as always, the Seattle Seahawks. So first, let's get into the trade. Adam Schefter broke it, or every NFL beat writer broke it. Who knows who actually had it first? I don't know. But the Chicago Bears and the Carolinas have agreed to a trade. The Panthers are moved up. They will have the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. In compensation, the Chicago Bears will have the number 9 pick, so essentially just swapping first-round picks there. They will have the number 61 overall pick this season. They will have the Panthers' first-round pick in 2024, Panthers' second-round pick in 2025, and wide receiver DJ Moore. From the Chicago Bears perspective, I really like the trade. I think it's something that makes a ton of sense. They've got Justin Fields. They clearly, I don't think Fields... You can't move on from Fields after last year. He certainly needs to show some more development in the passing game. Was a great runner. I think he had over 1,000 yards rushing. So clearly showed a nice step from year 1 to year 2. He needs to show another one in year 2 to year 3. But the Bears were not going to be drafting a quarterback. A lot of teams trying to move up to get one. The Bears can now move back down to 9, where they can grab some of the great depth at offensive tackle that exists in this NFL draft. A place the Bears certainly need to make some improvements. They could look at help on the defense. You could have guys, Jalen Carter could still be there, 9 for them possibly. So they get a chance to help fill out their roster. They traded their second-round pick, the number 33 pick, to the Steelers for Chase Claypool. So they needed to add some draft depth back by getting that 61st pick. And I love the addition of DJ Moore. I think he fits in perfectly in Chicago. I think that's a great move, a great safety valve to give to Justin Fields. He's a big play guy. He's a guy that can make some things happen underneath. So a great addition for the Bears. And also the Bears, some of those receiving core doesn't look too bad. You've got Mooney, you've got DJ Moore, and maybe with a year in the system now, Chase Claypool does a little better next year. And part of that could be not having a lot of weapons around him. So still not out of the realm possibility that he contributes. And you have Cole Kmet there as well. They definitely need help on the offensive line, but some pretty good skill position players in Chicago to work on. And they add a first-round pick next year along with their own, and some good. And they still pick, like I said, they still pick at number 9, and that 61st pick helps a little bit offset the Chase Claypool trade. Not really, because it was 33. That's a big gap, 33-61. But at least they'll be able to add some more depth there as well. So I really like the trade from the Chicago Bears, and it makes sense. There was no reason for them to stick at number 1. They didn't need to. They do drop down to 9. That's, I thought maybe the Colts would sneak up there and the Bears would stay in that top 5. But like I said, this is a really good depth draft for offensive tackle. The Bears could use it. I think they'll be sitting number 9 looking for offensive tackle. I like this move for the Carolina Panthers as well. They move up now to number 1. They have their pick of their litter. There's the big 4, Levis, Richardson, Young, and Stroud. I imagine it's going to be Young or Stroud, but I don't know. I don't really know the Carolina Panthers front office and who they're looking at. But whoever it is they like, they are going to get them. They are going to get their pick of the litter of these quarterbacks. They are in a division that is ripe for the picking. The Bucs are in a bit of a fire sale. Tom Brady retires. It looks like they're having to clear a lot of cap space, so they're having to move on from some guys. Falcons are kind of a mess, and they're sitting, I think they're at 8 with their first-round pick, so they may not get a chance at one of the quarterbacks either. And then they're rolling with Desmond Ridder, and they still need a lot of help on the defense. They've got some decent skill guys and some good talent on the O-line. And maybe Ridder does end up being the guy, but they look like they need some help. The Saints are a solid team, but they're still in a lot of trouble with the cap. They do add Derek Carr, but Andy Dalton wasn't really the problem for them last year. Dalton played pretty well, so I'm not sure how much of a jump they get from Derek Carr. I don't think the Saints are a bad team at all. I think they're solid, but I think their ceiling is limited. So the time is now for the Carolina Panthers, and I think they should and will be the favorites to win this division. The NFC has a chance to be pretty open. Aaron Rodgers possibly going out. Like I said, Tom Brady's retired. The Eagles look like they're going to shop Darius Slay and probably lose some of their guys on the D-line. I think they'll still be really good. Dallas, you never know. Minnesota's having to fire sale a little bit, and make some cap space rooms. The Niners have quarterback question. The Rams may fire sale. So a lot of openings in the NFC for a team like Carolina to come up and maybe be that team to take the reins. I think it's possible. I think this is the favorite to win the division. Panthers are solid in the trenches. They're pretty good on the O-line and D-line. They've had some good young secondary players. Now, trading DJ Moore kind of sucks. If I was a Panthers fan, I would have really liked to have DJ Moore to work with whoever the quarterback is going to be for them. That would have been ideal, and not leaving him with, Laviska Shenault as your option. Now, they can make some moves maybe in free agency, but it's not a great, and there's trades too, but it's not a really great free agency class for wide receivers. So we'll see what they end up doing, and in the draft as well. So I think you'd have liked to have DJ Moore, but the trades can't always be, they're not always going to be the most ideal scenario in terms of, I'm sure the Panthers would have loved to kept DJ Moore. If they could have done that trade without trading DJ Moore, I guarantee they would have done it. They couldn't. They're moving up. They're getting their guy, and obviously it's someone they like. They've got a good coach that's worked well with quarterbacks in Frank Reich. He's got a history of developing guys. Now, he never really got a shot in, Indianapolis, unfortunately, because Andrew Luck retired, and they just kept going with retreads with Rivers, Ryan, Wentz. So they didn't really have a chance to develop a guy there. So he's got a chance now. He's a good offensive coach to get his hands on a young quarterback and make this work for the Carolina Panthers. So I would be very excited if I'm a Panthers fan. And I think that division is ripe for the taking for Carolina. So I think it's a good move for both teams. I think it makes a ton of sense for both. Now, let's talk about the impact on my team, the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, this trade does have a pretty big impact on the Seahawks. You're sitting at number 5. The only team above you in the top 4 now, Carolina, Houston, Arizona, and Indianapolis. The only team that's not going to be taking a quarterback more than likely is Arizona. So you are likely, if you have a big board of defensive players, you are going to get at least your number 2 best defensive player is going to be there for you. Houston, Indy might shock us. You never know. So I shouldn't say it's guaranteed. Maybe Houston loves Stroud and Carolina takes Stroud. They say, screw it, give us Will Anderson. Who knows? But whatever Seattle's big board is, there's a chance they could have their number 1 defender. Maybe a Will Anderson is able to drop. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Arizona would make that move. But it certainly impacts the Seahawks as you're looking at, like I said, likely 3 quarterbacks going in the top 5, probably going 1, 2, and 4. And Arizona is the only team above you that's going to get the pick of the litter for anybody else. So anybody else, wide receiver, Witherspoon, the corner from Illinois, he's on your board. I don't know where they are in Jalen Carter necessarily. That stock's dropped a little bit. Will Anderson, so we'll see. But whoever it is, they're likely going to have a very good chance at number 5 to at least get what they deem the second best defensive player in this draft, or the second best, or even necessarily take out quarterback, take out defense, maybe the best skill position player they view in the draft. Maybe it's a receiver. You never know. So it definitely helps Seattle. And the only way it would hurt Seattle if they were really, really looking quarterback, I think it's still a possibility because if you look at the Geno Smith deal, they can get out of that after 1 year. So maybe they do. But this team needs a lot of work in the trenches. They talked about it after the San Francisco game where they needed to improve the most. John and Pete both talked about they were overmatched by San Francisco in the trenches. So I can't imagine they would re-sign Geno, draft a quarterback, and now you've just allocated all the money. And remember, rookie quarterbacks aren't as cheap as they used to be. You're probably still looking at like a $5 million cap hit for the number 5 pick at quarterback. So you allocate all that money, and then your roster hasn't improved in other spots. Who knows? Maybe they go hard in free agency and add a bunch of guys, and that quarterback is there, and they like it. But if anything, this trade makes it less likely for that to happen now, as there's a good chance that 3 of the big 4 are gone. So unless they just happen to love the one guy that's left, then they're going to have to look somewhere else. But I think it's good for Seattle. I think it just opens up more avenues with more quarterbacks being gone to improve on the defense, the O-line, and, the offense. Maybe interior line. I don't think they'd go there at 5, but maybe receiver, corner. I like Witherspoon out of Illinois. So we'll see. Like the trade for both teams. I think it's a good move. I think Carolina's got a chance to. Carolina's kind of my sleeper team for next year. I think they've got a chance to really be a force in the NFC. And for the Bears, while I don't necessarily have them as a sleeper team for next year, I think it's a good move for them. They really need to add depth on that roster in the trenches on the O-line and D-line. This is going to help them big time, and it gives them a really, really nice weapon for Justin Fields and DJ Moore. Let me know what you guys think of the trade down in the comments down below. Bears fans, Panthers fans, Seahawks fans, let me know what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, whatever you need to do, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.